Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you to the July 8th meeting of the Rome City Commission meeting. And we start every meeting off with an invocation and pledge to the flag. And tonight, Commissioner Randy Quick has the honors. He's on the way. I counted and he wasn't here.
Oh, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Quick.
If you would please join me in prayer. Gracious and Heavenly Father God, as we gather together as Romans, we acknowledge that wherever we go, we are always in your presence. We pray that our actions tonight will reflect this awareness as we seek your nearness and as we count our many blessings in all days ahead. Clothe our lives with charity. Deepen our lives with loyalty. Hallow our lives with integrity. Help us to live our lives so that we may enhance the future of those whose lives we serve. May your radiant spirit and wisdom guide us in everything we do, working all things for our good and your glory. We offer this prayer in your most holy and precious name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Quick. Mr. Clerk, if you will, call the roll.
Sir. Mayor McDaniel.
Here.
Commissioner Bojo.
Here.
Brock. Here. Cochran.
Here.
Beeman.
Here.
Doss.
Here.
Quick.
Here.
Collins.
You received the minutes from our June 17th, 2024 meeting. We will approve those by common consent. We have no proclamations. We have no registered guests, no resolutions. We have, I think, 5 items on first reading, and I will call on Commissioner Quick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We do have several items on first reading tonight from the Planning Commission. The first is Z24-07-01. It is a request to rezone from community commercial to suburban residential for the property located at 3 Westland Drive, Rome, Georgia 30165, Floyd County tax parcel H13X317. This comes with a unanimous recommendation of approval from the Planning Commission. Item B is Z24-07-02. It is a request to rezone from community commercial to suburban residential for the property at 7 Westland Drive, Rome, Georgia 30165. That's Floyd County tax parcel H13X319. This also comes with a recommendation of approval unanimously from the Planning Commission. Item C is SUP 24-07-03. This is a request for a special use permit for a duplex in a high-density traditional residential zoning district for the property at 312 East 15th Street, Rome, Georgia 30161, Floyd County tax parcel J14N213. Also with a unanimous recommendation for approval from the Planning Commission. Item D is A24-07-05. It is a request to annex the property at 122 Morgan Drive, Northwest, Rome, Georgia 30165, zoned suburban residential with no change in use or zoning. Floyd County tax parcel H12Z363. Also with unanimous recommendation for approval from the Planning Commission. And item E is Z24-07-07. It is a request to rezone from neighborhood office commercial to duplex residential for the property located at 209 Redmond Road, Rome, Georgia 30165. That's Floyd County Tax Parcel I13W086. It comes with a recommendation for approval from the Planning Commission by a vote of 6-1. And those are the items that's placed on first reading for this evening's meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Quick. We have nothing on second reading, nothing continued on first reading. We do have a public hearing tonight for the 2024 tax increase. This is our first public hearing. I'm going to call on our city manager, Sammy Rich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as we discussed earlier in caucus, the Finance Committee has made the recommendation this year that we have a reduction in the city M&O from 7.8 down to 7.75. For city capital, from 1.8 down to 1.75. And then for Rome City Schools, 16.85 down to 16.75. And so while that does not represent a substantial decrease, the Finance Committee did feel that philosophically it was a decrease to the extent of the portion that is controlled by the City Commission, and thus would probably be a welcome addition. Just looking at simple numbers on a $150,000 house with no change in assessment or no exemptions, that's roughly a $12 savings. And so while it is small, it is savings nonetheless. And so with that, Mr. Mayor, we would need to conduct the public hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. I now declare the public hearing open. Is anyone here to speak in favor? Is anyone here to speak in opposition? You will come to the podium and give us your name and address. You have 5 minutes.
My name is Ken Wright. I'm P.O. Box 324, Silver Creek, Georgia. Good evening. I come before you respectfully requesting you as city commissioners to make some difficult decisions. When reviewing the millage rate for the city, I know you're in an extremely difficult predicament. Based upon the financially irresponsible and ignorant decisions of 5 city commissioners who intentionally force citizens and you as a local government to fund an exorbitantly overpriced middle school, most expensive in the state, which was not even needed. In the same way that 2 of these commissioners were voted out, I suspect the remaining 3 will be voted out at the next election. It's sad that a handful of Democrat commissioners created such a huge tax burden on the entire population of this community. I also recognize that the city and taxpayers will be responsible when the Rome Board of Education can't pay the $150 million in bond debt, including the $50 million in interest. I realize there is also an intergovernmental agreement that states the city of Rome can raise property taxes to an unlimited amount for up to 50 years to pay this bond debt if needed. Now is the time to dissolve Rome City Schools and allow Floyd County Schools to absorb these schools. This is going to happen anyway, as there are only approximately 20 city school systems left in the state, and that's out of 159 counties. And I don't believe any of these separate city school systems only manage 1 middle school and only 1 high school. This will eliminate duplicate salaries of central office personnel, superintendents, IT departments, HR departments, buildings, buses, and a host of other duplicate expenses. Let's also move forward with Floyd County Police absorbing Rome City Police. The same duplicate roles, departments, and expenses can be combined into one more cost-efficient and effective entity. It is sad that law enforcement in this community worked for almost 25 years to combine resources and establish a joint law enforcement center via a SPLOST, but obviously that SPLOST was a waste of taxpayer money. The most obvious decision to spread the tax base is to forbid the approval of any more TADs. You know, TADs, they're supposed to be intended to restore blighted and impoverished communities to create jobs. Yet we give TADs to out-of-town developers for housing projects on the most desired riverfront property in our downtown area. Historically, we have some billion-dollar entities like Floyd Hospital and Berry College also that have never paid for their fair share of taxes. Out of a sense of guilt or responsibility, you would think both these entities would write $1 million check to our local government simply to pay their fair share. I doubt that will happen. I also know there is a proposed referendum to shift tax burden to sales tax rather than property tax. That's just a Band-Aid which only shifts the taxes but won't reduce overall tax burden. To effectively lower residents' property taxes to 2017 levels, you would need to lower the millage rate to 7 mills because of the overly inflated assessments. At age 62, all citizens should, at a minimum, be eliminated from paying school taxes. That will be more feasible with only 1 school system in this county. Businesses and citizens have realized dramatically increased assessments because their neighbors have either built or purchased homes and properties at inflated pricing. That's like raising my car insurance when my neighbor down the road buys a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce. Where's the logic? I know the Republican commissioners have inherited a bad situation. I know these decisions are difficult and won't be very popular to some, but they need to move forward and be implemented. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone here to speak regarding the tax increase? I close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion. No motion. Oh, I'm sorry. No motion. I'm sorry. It closes the public hearing. Mr. Clark?
Mr. Mayor, speaking of our current topic, we will have a special call meeting of the City Commission on Thursday, July 18th at 10 a.m. And that will be for the purpose of conducting public hearing number 2. We just finished public hearing number 1, public hearing number 2 on the 18th, and then finally, the third and final public hearing, along with the public hearing to adopt the millage rate, will be scheduled 2 weeks from tonight on July 22nd.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have the need for action tonight, and if the attorney would allow, I believe perhaps one approval would get us this resolution and integrated lease agreement. And so what is before you tonight is a lease between the City of Rome and the Georgia Department of Natural Resources, and we're talking about what we locally call Dixon Landing. It is the public boat ramp out off of the Etowah at the YMCA soccer fields, and so it's at the end of George Griffin Drive, which runs off of Turner Chapel. So this original agreement goes back to 1999, and it's a 25-year agreement, and so we have reached the period that this needs to be renewed, and I would be remiss to not encourage action on this, because it's a great amenity for the community, and with the increase in paddlers and anglers in our community, that gets a lot of action out there on this stretch of the Etowah, and so no real changes. What's before you is basically the updated version of what action was done back in 1999, but it does involve a simple resolution that all commissioners would sign, and then a simple lease agreement. And happy to try to answer any questions.
So moved.
This for 25 years again.
Correct. Another 25 years.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I asked the question, was it another 25 years? And it is.
Sir, Commissioner Bojo?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
Cochran?
Yes.
Beeman?
Yes.
Dawes?
Yes.
Quick?
Yes.
Collins?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Attorney? Under my time, Rome Floyd Development Authority will meet on Tuesday, July the 16th at 9 o'clock a.m. at the Manus Business Center. Commissioner Bojo?
Only thing I have is the transportation policy. We'll meet Wednesday, July 17th, 10 o'clock in the Carnegie Training Room. That's all. That concludes my report.
Commissioner Brock?
Public Safety Committee will meet Tuesday, July 16th at 2 o'clock in the Sam King Room. That concludes my report.
Commissioner Cochran?
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Beeman?
I don't have a report, but I do have a comment. We just recently came back from the Georgia Municipal Association training, and I attended a training that I thought was just phenomenal. The instructor was Eric Robinson, and he talked so highly of Rome, but it was on conflict resolution, and he asked us to give 2 comments or to give 2 feedbacks on what we thought was important about the training. And these are 2 things that I focused on. Keep focus on the issues than the person. All issues aren't easy. Conflict can be resolved by unity instead of division. And I thought about us. We can move forward if we practice these safe. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Doss?
Thank you, and I want to commend Commissioner Beeman for her comments. I was in a different class, but people were just raving about Rome, our downtown, our tennis center, which has got a global presence now. So we should be proud as a community. Under my report, Public Works, Traffic, Transit, and Trails. Public Works will meet Wednesday, July 10th at 10 a.m. in the Sam King Room. As always, the public is invited. And also, this is a very special announcement. The Mount Berry Trail and Advent Health Redmond Echo Greenway signage ribbon cutting will be held Tuesday, July 9th. That is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. at the Advent Health Stadium East Side parking lot trailhead. And if you don't know where that is, it's behind our baseball stadium and sort of at the end. And definitely, if you are a trail person or a recreation person or physical education person, or you just like to celebrate a special time, this is a very unique time for the City of Rome, Floyd County, and our TREAD partners. And so what's unique about tomorrow is we're going to have our first major trail loop, and that's exciting because right now if you get on the Mount Berry Trail or shortly before now, you have to go and then turn around and go back. Now you can loop it all the way around from Mount Berry all the way through Ridge Ferry Park back to our downtown, and it's just an awesome loop. And what we're celebrating is the quality of life in Rome, Georgia just went up. And even if you're not a trail person, you must support quality of life. And that's what will draw people to this community. So it's tomorrow morning at 9. I know it's going to be a little warm. So we'll probably, try to get you in and out of there. But everyone is invited. Thank you. That's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Doss. I want to commend you and Commissioner Brock and our city manager, Sammy Ridge, and our Julie Smith, and a lot of people in the community, a lot of the volunteers in the community who have worked diligently for so many years to make sure that we didn't waver, and we've been committed to that, and this is a major accomplishment. And you mentioned GMA, and in so many ways, we're the envy of the rest of the state. We're not perfect, but we keep striving to be perfect. We learn from these other communities, and I've never been more proud to be from Rome, Georgia, as I was when we were in Savannah this last time. And it's an honor to serve with each one of you. I appreciate the professionalism and what each one of you bring to this and how well you represent our city, not only here, but when we're away from here. You make us look good, and I appreciate that so much. Commissioner Quick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've got a couple of items. We had a committee-on-committee meeting this afternoon at 4:30 preceding the caucus. And for Historic Preservation Committee, Committee on Committees is nominating Kaylee Schroeder and Julie Wagaspak for terms on historic preservation. On the Housing Authority to fill the big shoes of Hilda Curtis, who will be retiring in August. We are moving them forward with the name of Jamie Palmer. And on the Board of Adjustments, Land Development Code, we are moving forward with the nomination of Cameron Abney for reappointment. And that's from Committee on Committees on first reading tonight. Also, tomorrow, the General Administration will meet at 11 a.m. in the Carnegie Training Room. And that concludes my report. And I, too, will mirror all of the comments of how well Rome, Georgia looked in the eyes of 2,700 people in Savannah, Georgia.
Commissioner Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to tell you that your comments were greatly appreciated. It's an honor to serve with you as well, and all you commissioners. Also, I'd like to say I want to thank the citizens of Rome for allowing me, for all of these 20-some-odd years, closer to 30 more than it is 20-some of them, for having the opportunity to go down to Savannah and get the training that we get, to have the opportunity to come back to Rome and use these tools to make this place a much better place to live, work, and play and raise our families. It's been quite an honor and quite a run. It really has been. Again, Mr. Mayor, I want to appreciate you for your comments and your leadership. And that's basically all I have. I thank you so much.
Thank you.
Unless you can push it up, Joe, and see if I got anything else.
I'm sorry, sir.
I think I might.
Parks and Rec.
How about Parks and Rec will meet July the 16th at 12 p.m. at the main office on Shorter Avenue. Me and Sammy did attend the last rec meeting, and it was quite a discussion about the gymnastics and where we headed as a community over there. I got to running my mouth, so telling the county how much we really, really wish that they would dig deep to make this program continue on for the young folks in this here city. Jamie had to kind of, wait a minute, Collins, you guys don't deal with the budgets. So you just deal with the, of course, the parks as well as the facilities. But I think and I pray that that program will continue, and we'll do all we can out here, citizens, to get behind the rec and the county with giving them what they need to make this program go forward. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Robinson is, actually, I texted him. He and his family are traveling, and they were leaving England and on the way to Scotland, but I'm going to give his report. Alcohol Control Commission will meet Monday, July 15th at 5 p.m. in the commission chambers, and the Downtown Development Authority will meet on Monday, July 15th at 8:30 a.m. in the Milner Building. And Doug Walker, our own Doug Walker, has a comment he would like to make.
I just wanted to point out for everybody that of the final 8 on the women's side at Wimbledon, 3 of the players that are in the final 8 going into the second week were here in Rome just as recently as last year. So I mean, it costs very little, if anything, to go see some of this tennis when it's played here. The kids are making their marks, and I remarked yesterday while I was watching it just how crazy to think it was that I was the one that was sitting there interviewing these girls last year, and now they're being interviewed on Wimbledon and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun, awesome. And as I think Commissioner Doss said, our tennis center is on the global map.
Yeah. I want to make one final comment about GMA. We received a City of Civility Award recognition. We had our picture made on the way up here, down on the stairway. But that is quite a recognition for this city. I think the next level of recognition is the City of Ethics, and we're going to be working on that. So many good things. It's just amazing the positive things that you hear once people, I had my Rome, Georgia cap on, and I was on the shuttle, the boat coming across the river, and this lady said, "Do you play tennis?" Now, I'm 71 years old. I don't look like a tennis player. But I said, you've been to Rome? And she said, yeah, my grandkids come to Rome and play tennis. And she said, y'all got the best thing in Georgia when it comes to tennis. And we love Berry College. And then she said, the other lady said, we love you downtown. And I'm just sitting there, and I get to see this stuff every day. And we're blessed. We're all truly blessed. Nothing else, we're adjourned. Thank you.
We signing this right now?
All right. Good job, Mayor.
Hold on, Chair.
Drug it out.